Hello. Today I'm going to be going through some tips and tricks that you can share with families and students on making sure that they have a positive experience using Google Meets through distance learning. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is with any device, making sure that the Chrome OS is the most up to date. So, if you're talking about that on a laptop, a PC, or any other MacBook type computer, you're going to go to the top right corner, click the three dots. You're going to hover over Help, and then you're going to go to About Google Chrome. Once you go to About Google Chrome, it's going to check for updates, and you're going to see that it's updated. If you don't see this screen, just make sure you go to About Google Chrome. It'll pop up. Once it checks for updates, if it needs an update, it will say Install Updates. You would click that. You would wait, and then once it's installed the update, you would click Restart, and it will restart Google Chrome with all your tabs. So that's the first thing. The next thing we're going to talk about is the idea that when you're either using a laptop, a Chromebook, or any other device that's a mobile device, you want to make sure that that device is plugged into power. Not plugging into power is going to have a lot of restrictions on how much the computer will be able to do if you're trying to run multiple windows and tabs. Students at home as well as parents, you want to only have the tabs open that you need. So if you're in a Google Meet and you're just watching the teacher teach, the only thing you should have open is the Google Meet tab. Teachers can have the Google Meet tab, a presentation, but you want to keep the number of tabs open to a bare minimum. So that's some of the kind of things you can do to prep your device for the Google Meet sessions. Now, talking about Google Meet specifically, I'm going to go ahead and join a meeting called Test. And before I actually get into the meeting, I want to talk about this screen where you can see some functions. So I'm going to turn my camera off just because you don't really need to see me at this point. But you'll notice right here there is a turn on background blur. So that is just a new feature that's been added. So if I unmute my camera, now you can see that I have my background blurred, but as I move you can see you can see a little bit behind me. So that's just something that you can do in your classroom if you want to blur out a background. So we're going to go ahead and turn that back off, and you see the normal background. Another option that you want to look at is down here in the bottom left. If you see those green lines moving up and down as you're talking, you know that your microphone is active. If you see that there's an X through this, you can go up to here where the three dots are for more options, and you can go to the settings, and this is where you're going to see what microphone is being used. So if you have multiple microphones, you can toggle between them and check your microphone. You can also check your speakers. There is a test. It'll make a ringing noise. And then for video, you can go ahead and check out what's going on in video, what camera is being used. And then as a teacher, your send resolution is always set to 360. If you want to send higher quality, you can make it 720, although it may slow down or make it choppier, but you'll get a cleaner picture. So receive resolution, I would not change that at all as a teacher, but as a student, I might bump it up to 720 if you have a good internet connection, if you have good Wi-Fi connectivity. So we're going to go ahead and close that. Now when I join the meeting, and I close this, you're going to see on the bottom part of your screen, you probably can't see it too well on mine because of this bar. I'm going to move it. You see this new blue shield as a host. So as a teacher, if you click on that blue shield, you're going to notice some things, one called Quick Access. Quick Access is going to allow people who are invited to the meeting but might not necessarily be in our organization, join the meeting without needing to ask permission. So you may schedule a meeting using Google Meets and then invite the parent or invite another staff member, and if they use the invitation email, they will be able to join the meet without asking permission. This is on automatically. If you turn it off, then anyone who's not in your invitation, and even those who are invited that are not in your organization, will have to be let into the meeting. Let everyone share their screen is always turned on. You can turn that off if you don't want students to have the unintentional mistaken shared screen. Turn it off. Same thing with send chat messages. You can turn that off as well. If you click on view all host settings, once you click it, that will pop up. You're going to see you still have your audio and your video settings, but now you have also an explanation of the host controls. So again, when turned off, only hosts can share their screen. When turned off, only hosts can send chat messages. as well as see, and everyone can see the chat messages, but only the host can send them. Now on the right-hand side, there's the More Options button. So if we click on More Options, we're going to see the first thing I want to focus in on, which is Change Layout. So a lot of times students might say, I'm seeing things backwards, or I don't see your presentation. What you need to do is make sure that you click Change Layout. They will need to click Change Layout. And I would make sure that it's set to Spotlight. Not Sidebar, not Tiled, not Auto, but Spotlight. That will put the emphasis on whatever is being presented, or the speaker if nothing is being presented. In addition, you do have the option now of adjusting the number of people you see in your grid from anywhere from 6 all the way up to 49. It will depend on how many people join the meeting, but you can say, if I had 16 kids, I can set this to 16, and you'll be able to see up to 16. If I set it to 30, that means you'll be able to see up to 30 in one screen. So we'll close that. And whatever you pick here for Auto, Tiled, Spotlight, or Sidebar, that will be the new default for your meets. However, you will need to readjust for the number of people you have in your meeting. Close that. Again, down at the bottom right-hand side for more options, if you click on that, you're going to see turn on background blur, so you still have that function, as well as settings down here. So if you ever do have an issue with either a microphone or camera turning off or turning on or switching, you would click settings. You'd make sure that you have the right microphone and the correct speakers if you're not hearing someone, as well as the correct camera under video. The final setting we're going to look at when we click the 3 dots is going to be the background blur that you're able to use in case you want to use that. When presenting in your classroom, now teachers, if you're presenting in your classroom and you go ahead and click Present Now, you're going to want to share your entire screen if you want to be able to have your students see what you're writing on your interactive panel. If you share a window or a Chrome tab, they won't see what is on the window. If you're going to share a tab that has sound, if you're playing music from YouTube or you're playing a video that you want them to see, you want to make sure that you select a Chrome tab, pick the tab you want them to be able to see, then click Share. Then you'll go to that tab and start your video or your music. If you use the full screen set, if you use the share your entire screen or a window, then you may not have the option of picking the sound that goes with it. As you can see here, there's no option for sharing sound. So they'll see it, but it will be completely silent. If I share a window, again, there's no option for sound. So definitely want to share a tab, because that is what will bring audio. So I hope these tips are helpful to you and you find them useful in your work.